For all the Pats fans who took a victory lap up 21-0 yesterday, just remember, this is the greatest athlete on the planet, the reigning MVP, and future Super Bowl champion, Joshua Patrick Allen.
For years and years, when they talk about great quarterbacks, they're going to be talking about Josh Allen. So we're witnessing greatness right now. It's amazing.
Yeah, there's something called the belief, and when it spreads, it is contagious, and there's no question. This team, it's proven over and over, week after week, they can come back and win any game when 17 is a quarterback.
This is Broken Table. Hein, Stevie, Chezzy, you just nailed it. It's the comebacks, and this has been the story of this season. We saw it once again, and you know what? It's kind of a microcosm of the season, right? Like the Ravens, that opening game, down 40-25, and I remember people leaving the stadium. And I was shocked that, yeah, if this is the Trent Edwards days, if this is the JP Lossman days, I kind of get it. Because we were never coming back in those games. You know what I mean? Like, I understand being the traffic, but we have the MVP. We have Josh Allen. You can, with 17 in the game, like you said, It's never over. And he proved that once again.
Never over. Hey, guys, Dawson Knox said it best after the game. He said successful teams need to have games that's close and games where they have to come back from a large deficit in order to win Super Bowl games. When you look at it, Super Bowl games, they're either close games or someone has to come back. It's rarely a blowout, so this is this team is fitting the mold for that. So yeah, I'm on board.
When you have, and I say this, we talk about their defense, and one word I would use for their defense, and it's been consistent now, is resiliency. They're far from shut down, but they're resilient. And I think we might not believe in them, or others might not consistently believe in that defense, but I think they believe in each other. And it can tell because when they need big stops, they find a way to get it done.
So one thing, I'm glad you brought up the defense, because there's a ton with this defense, and I think it goes hand in hand with the comebacks. But their point differential in the second halves is plus 116. That's best in the NFL. Obviously, the offense is great, but the defense is playing a big part of that. Since the bye in week 7, so an 8-game sample size, Bills defense allowing 7.9 points in the second half per game. So they're really adjusting. So and this would be a good one for you guys. Like, how much, I don't know. I know Peyton Manning said halftime adjustments are nothing from a player perspective. You're just eating oranges in the locker room, which I kind of don't buy. But from a coaching perspective, what are you seeing from McDermott that's changing in these second halves?
Well, for me, I think it is the adjustments. You go out there and you see what tendencies are, and then you adjust to it. And the team has shown that since three years ago. They always been like this. And I can't say why they don't come out the game and just immediately, jump on teams and show what they already have. It's confusing to me. I don't have no answer for it. But it is something that's going on in that locker room. It's not like a man in where people going there and eating oranges. It can't be none of that. They're making adjustments in there, and it's showing with 7.9 points per game in the second half. That's completely shutting the team down.
Mm-hmm.
So that's amazing, to be honest. And I don't have no answer for it.
I also think you take the eating orange. Who said that?
Peyton Manning said that. Maybe he sees the game in a cerebral level unlike anybody else. Yeah.
No, Peyton. I think Peyton is probably turning cheek and kind of having some fun there.
Yeah.
That's Peyton damn well was in that room adjusting and going in second halves. But I do look at Josh, and if we go to kind of, he breaks defense's will, and I think that when you start to feel them coming back, you start to feel, you have them off the field on third down. He extends a play, extends a drive. Now they get 7. Then the Bills defense makes a play. Now they've got 14. That is that type of, consistency from, or inability for other teams to stop Josh in the second half of these comebacks. I think that's part of what the 7.9 you're talking about is just the feeling and the energy you get from the other side. I mean, it's the defense gets credit for sure, but it's also just the fact that when you can't stop Josh, it's frustrating, it's deflating, it's demoralizing, and the defense gets energy from that.
So now here's my one thing I noticed, and I this was kind of a thing I saw eye test watching the game yesterday, and I saw some numbers today that backed it up. The blitz rate is way up during these comebacks. And it seems that the team defensively is like, we need to create more chaos because we're down. And this defense specifically plays better when they're in like a more chaos mode. And you've talked about it before all year, Chezzy, that the personnel is not at the level that you need for an elite defense. So does it make more sense to maybe be a little more chaotic with your play calling? And like Matt Milano was huge yesterday because they started to send more pressure, and Milano definitely made a huge difference in that game.
I think that's a great point. I think you're spot on. I think that, even offensively, if you line up and can beat people, then you don't need to trick them.
Yes.
Defensively, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you can line up and beat people, whoop people's butt in the front four, and then line up and cover people in man coverage and win that way, then simplify, do that.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, play with chaos and play with different looks, play with I haven't gone back and looked at it, but maybe there's some zone pressure. Maybe there's some.
You nailed it with different looks. Orlovsky had a great thing on Get Up this morning. He basically said all of those key second and third downs, they were basically just rolling out the Rolodex of play calls. And they changed it up. Drake May never saw the same look twice in the second half on those crucial things. And it seemed like everything really did hit with that.
So two things I know about the Bills always. Pre-snap disguise, they're always in the top 5 or top 10, I would say top 5 in the NFL with pre-snap disguise. Mm-hmm. So middle of the field closed, middle of the field open, those looks, they're always top 5. Secondly, I looked about a month ago, I checked before the show, and I checked what coverage they were playing on third downs, and you could not get a beat on what they were playing. It was 15% cover 3, 50% cover 2, 15% cover 4, 15% man. It was a bunch of mishmash of everything, exactly to your point, Chris, which I had not seen yet and looked at the film, but obviously you did, and you're spot on. The Bills give you a bunch of different looks, but again, what teams have to do that? Everyone should do it because it makes it tougher on the opposing quarterback. But if you don't have elite talent,
also was playing without an all-pro cornerback in Christian Benford yesterday too. So Stevie, given that note about all of the differences coverage-wise, how much does that change the approach as a receiver, as a quarterback on offense, knowing that you're going to get completely different looks every single time?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great thing. It's a great thing for a defense to have in their repertoire. And again, I remember Chezzy talking about this last season, all the way back then when Chezzy went and checked the film and said, oh yeah, Babbage does this, this, and this. And it's consistent. It's been consistent since I heard him say that. And I give props to Babbage because he mixes it up. And I think that helps that team get on to the next play because they're not just calling the same thing over and over. They're trying new things, and Babbage is giving them that energy to understand, all right, new possession, new play, new coverage, try it this way. I even, put that on the offensive side with Coach Brady. He was trying new things. He's trying new things with his playmakers. And me as a wide receiver, it was a time where we was leaning on the outside guys to make plays, and Brady was trying to scheme it up, and it just wasn't working. So me as a wide receiver looking at it is like, it's frustrating, but then you see where the success is. So as a team player, you gotta go with it and turn into that blocking receiver or turn into that guy that's going to sacrifice running down the field just because you're opening up for the tight end. So, from that perspective, you got to change your mindset as an offensive player. But on the defensive side, it's great. And I want to add depth, the depth that they had. Early, Drake May was carving the guys up with his legs. Then Babbage ended up using the spy, bringing in Dorian Williams, So that's good how they using their rotation in linebacker by committee. Everybody got a good role, and they take pride in it. So it's a benefit for the defense always if you can be chaotic.
I had this from earlier, guys. This is kind of playing to exactly what we're saying. I had a sample. It was a 3-week sample. On third down between 3 and 10, there was 15 snaps. There was no coverage that they played more than 4 times.
Which is also, it's kind of the exact opposite of what they're doing on offense. When you're seeing Joe Brady's running the same play over and over and over and over again.
Right.
And I think that speaks to personnel. When you have the personnel on offense, a great O-line, a great quarterback, a great running back, you can do that because it's like, hey, it's about the Jimmies and Joes, as they say. My man will beat your man, and everybody does their thing. On defense, they don't have that. They have to sort of mix it up.
How big is that to have Jordan Poyer back doing what he's doing?
Yeah.
Because you can, all that pre-snap disguise, all those different coverages, all the different stuff you have to have. I don't think they were comfortable back there with Rapp and Rapp's a veteran too, but with Rapp and Bishop back there, probably not as comfortable. With Hamlin and Bishop back there, probably not as comfortable. With Poyer back there, that's a big difference.
Well, but look at what Bishop's play has become once he got Poyer back there, right? Like, Bishop has emerged as a great player, and that wasn't happening until Poyer was in the starting lineup. Poyer also somehow has turned back the clock. Like, that guy looks like it's 2020 all over again for him, which his career looked done in Miami. Let me wrap up the comebacks real quick here. Let's bring up the graphic because this is crazy. 40-25, 4 minutes left against the Ravens. Come back and win that game. 28-18, 8 minutes left against the Bengals. Come back to win that game. 21-0 in New England yesterday in the first half. Come back and win that game. And I think, Stevie, you nailed it. Like, these reps in coming back, this team believes that a game is never over. And come playoffs,
Absolutely.
That might be very important.
Absolutely. It's going to be almost every game. Maybe that first round is somewhat of a blowout, but later on, when it really matters, the second round, the divisional matchups, those games are where you have guys that go into the halftime and they make those adjustments just like you do. That's why it comes down to the top two teams, because you're similar in the way you guys get down, the way y'all are disciplined and go about y'all business. So, you need to have games where you win by 1, 2, look bad in the first quarter, come out in the fourth quarter and dominate. And the Bills have shown it through and through this season.
One thing from yesterday that I think the narrative needs to end, I don't know how anybody could have Drake May over Josh Allen for the MVP right now, because we saw those two guys going head to head. And if that was the first football game you ever watched and you said we have the two MVP candidates here, I don't think there's any chance you could pick Drake May over Josh Allen. Like, absolutely no chance. So, Matthew Stafford, different story. For you, Chezzy, is the MVP conversation open again? Is Josh Allen back in the MVP race?
Absolutely. I mean, look, you have to compare the numbers, and Josh has had some games where he didn't put up huge numbers, but the most valuable player, it's Matthew Stafford or Josh Allen right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, Drake May's
Drake May was good, and Drake May is good.
Best newcomer, most improved, most impressive, all that. Drake May has been outstanding, and he deserves to be in Honolulu, wherever they have the dang Pro Bowl now.
I think it's in Santa Clara, where we're going to be.
There you go. But there's not even, no. It's those two.
No, credit to Drake May. Drake May's been awesome. It's year 2. Give Drake May some time. Drake May's he might be an MVP quarterback in the future, and he might be a Super Bowl winning quarterback in the future. But for right now, Josh Allen's the best quarterback on the planet, and I think Josh Allen should be MVP frontrunner, but I understand Stafford, because you usually need to win your division and you need to be a top 2 seed. And right now, Josh Allen isn't that, where Stafford is the quarterback of the best team in the NFL. So what about you, Stevie? Is it Josh Allen or Stafford for you for MVP?
Well, again, I still got at least 20,000 I can win if Jalen Hurts be the MVP. So my big deal for Jalen.
Don't count on that one. I think we can close that one out.
Hey, yeah, man. It's got to be Josh Allen. I feel like with him being the MVP last year, he never lost it. Mm-hmm. He's been the MVP from week 1 to week now. In every game, even when there's turnovers, whenever there's low numbers in the passing game, Josh has still got his team within 3 points to win the game or a possession. So, he's always been the MVP. And until, you completely dominate and he's not doing what he's doing and keep getting his team into the playoffs, then, you can call it Josh Allen can sit down. But, nah, he's definitely an MVP right now.
Here's my one stat for why I think Josh Allen is the MVP. Okay. When allowing 30-plus points this season, outside of the Bills, the NFL is 9-95-2. The Bills are 4-1. So, what's the reason for that? That is only Josh Allen. And you know what? James Cook too. James Cook's awesome. I feel like we're obviously I'm gushing over Josh Allen. That's just what I do. But James Cook has been unbelievable. And yesterday it was sort of different. Usually he always breaks that big one. He did not break the big one yesterday, and he just grinded, ran hard, did everything that was needed.
He showed that he's worth every penny that he asked for, and plus more, because like you said, he's grinding it out now. He's playing almost every down. If you want to put him in the passing game, him catching the touchdown yesterday, even though it was only 2 targets, but at this point, that's a lot of targets and catches for receivers on the Buffalo Bills. And what he's doing, you can't ignore the fact that he is the workhorse of the team. But to have a guy like Josh Allen, you know, there's a Batman and there's a Robin on every great team.
And in regards to Pro Bowls, there's a guy that we're talking to right now. 3 straight years, 1,000 yards. He definitely should have been in the Pro Bowl. Maybe one of those years, maybe 2 of those years, Stevie Johnson should have been a Pro Bowler. But sometimes when you don't get enough, your team doesn't get enough wins, you don't get the personal accolades.
The respect, yeah.
But Stevie, as the consummate team player and professional that he was, doesn't complain about that. He's a team-first guy, but Stevie, you should have made the Pro Bowl at least one of those seasons.
Right. Thank you, brother. Thank you. And yeah, you're right, though. You know, the team, it's a lot with the team or how your personality is. Like, I probably could have if I was more rah-rah in the media, but I wasn't really like that. And I wasn't really calling out quarterbacks to get the ball more than only on 3rd downs. And that's what I feel the Bills have now. They got that mindset of mature receivers who can't complain. They can. Think about Keon, a young guy who's top 10, whatever, coming out of college. And now everybody's on him, you know, greats, legends, you know, everybody. And he hasn't said one bad thing or shown one bad thing. You know, he's just continued to go. So the mindset is great. The locker room is great. And it's good that they're getting these wins, you know, and it just makes things feel better as opposed to when my time was like you was 50-50, you know.
Well, I think that's a perfect transition, though, because we saw Keon yesterday blocking really well, but the Bills' identity offensively has changed, and it seems like they've sort of figured that out. Over the last 3 weeks, their play action rate is around 40%. And I think Brady realized we need to win with our backs and with our tight ends. And now all 3 tight ends are really getting worked in. We're seeing Jackson Hawes again making big plays. Dawson Knox, congrats on the proud new father. Got that new baby bump. 2 touchdowns yesterday. Yeah. And I think he's the Bills franchise leader in receiving touchdowns. You look at the snap count, Kincaid only played like 26 snaps yesterday. Yeah. So when you're watching them, have they sort of figured out what their identity is? And it's like, you know what, we don't need to try to beat you outside with our receivers, and we're just going to do it with our tight ends, with our running backs, and our receivers are going to block the hell out of you.
I wouldn't say they've decided we don't have to beat you outside.
Or is it maybe that's their best way?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right now they're not beating you outside, and to the identity, not to pour cold water on this, but their identity hasn't changed. That they tried to, you know, bring in young talent, tried to upgrade their receiving core. It just hasn't clicked.
Yeah.
So their best receivers were always the best weapon is always Dalton Kincaid and Khalil Shakir and probably Dawson Knox when it comes to dependability and somewhere that Josh believes in and trusts.
He has the trust for sure.
If you're a run-first team and you can take a couple shots a quarter, maybe 2 shots a quarter down the field to Josh or to Josh Palmer, that is, to 16 to Cooks.
Cooks had one yesterday. Perfect ball. He just dropped it.
So if you can take a couple of those shots and at least keep the defense honest, at least the threat of a deep ball, but your bread and butter is going to be working across the middle of the field, working your screen game, working your tight ends, working Shakir, then it is what it is. Who cares? Get it done. But you have to at least take a shot a quarter, 2 shots a quarter. To keep that defense honest.
So one note yesterday on that exactly. First half, Allen, 2.4 air yards per attempt in the first half. Second half, 10 air yards per attempt in the second half. So he was looking downfield. It did just happen to come from the tight ends mostly. But Stevie, do you think you can win a Super Bowl with using tight ends and backs primarily as your weapons on offense without a true?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we've seen New England do it a lot, right?
Yeah.
Gronkowski, you know, they've had their tight ends and their running backs. They utilize Falk out the backfield a lot. They utilize what's our guy, Danny Amendola.
Yeah, he's in the Shakir role, or him and Welker.
Shakir role. Danny Woodhead, even if you talk.
Woodhead is running back. Yeah.
You know, so like it can definitely be done, and I give props to Brady for dialing it up. He's continuing to dial it up. Not to mention I don't know if he's given Josh the reins or Josh is just awakened when he's been at the line changing things up. He's been audible in a lot as you've seen lately. So you know, that's good. That's only going to help the team going forward.
I had a stat from last year. The Bills, we talked about the 6 offensive linemen. So back to this Bills kind of who they are. They had 6 linemen more than anybody else.
Yeah. Well, one thing to you last year, they did do the extra lineman all the time, but now with Jackson Hawes, they don't have to.
Yeah.
And they're running 3 tight ends out there a ton. Yep. I think I saw a stat, I forget who had it. I wish I could give credit to the person, but it's basically saying using these 3 tight ends, we've recreated Stephon Diggs in the aggregate, to use like a Moneyball term. And those Diggs would always use the middle of the field, dependable on third down. That's exactly what those tight ends are doing now. And the numbers are similar. I think between the 3 guys, they're over 1,000 yards. So it's really, I love the pivot that Joe Brady has made. To your point, yeah, they had to do it because they don't have the weapons outside, but it's working. And I'm intrigued to see where it'll work for the season. But now the division's back wide open. Basically, what you need to win the division, the Ravens game kind of doesn't matter for the Pats because of the tie breaks. Here's the Pats' remaining schedule. At the Ravens, Sunday night next week. At the Jets, the week after. Home to the Dolphins last week of the season. Ravens game kind of means nothing. For the Bills to win the division, you need either the Jets to win at home against the Pats or Miami to win in Foxborough.
Yeah, it's not happening. I don't see the Dolphins beating them in Foxborough or the Jets beating the Patriots.
The Bills, I think the Bills can win out, especially like the way Philly's looking. Cleveland next week, that's a big spread. I'm worried about that Cleveland game because I think that's the type of game where the Bills no-show and win a close one. But Philly at home, not worried about.
The Bills should win out. Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, I'm with Stevie and probably with you as well. I don't see. There's a shot. I wouldn't say there's no shot. Yeah. I would say percentage-wise, I would say 15%.
Yeah,
chance.
I think that's about accurate. I think the Dolphins, if the Dolphins win tonight, and we'll get to Dolphins Steelers later, which I think the Dolphins can. That's an interesting game. But if we look at the playoff picture, what's the matchup you want anyways? Because as of right now, the Bills are in the 6th seed, meaning you're getting the Jags in the first round. You could still technically get the division, which changes everything. But I don't know if the Bills I don't know if you need those home playoff games the way the AFC is opening up like it is right now. Stevie, what do you think?
Yeah, same. I'm on point with that one. Only team, again, I'm thinking about the Houston Texans, the way that front line is, the same way Chesney was talking about, what if you run into that team? I think the Houston Texans are that team, and any other team is really not on my worry list in the AFC.
CJ Stroud looked really good last week, too. Remember, we talked about a couple weeks ago. All 3 of us, credit to you guys especially, I said, who do you fear in the AFC? Both of you said Houston, and now Stroud looks good. That offense looks good. I, too, am worried about Houston. Jags defense is good, and Trevor Lawrence looked awesome yesterday, but I'm not too concerned about getting the Jags in a playoff game. But
I said yesterday that the team that I fear most or the team to beat in the AFC is the Buffalo Bills, and I said that because, well, firstly, in the Sports Center hit, Luke got to go first, and he took Houston.
Okay, wow.
So for a conversation's sake, I took the Bills, but I do look at quarterback matchups. Look at the best teams in the NFC right now, guys. Denver. Obviously, Houston's good, but Denver, Jacksonville, New England. I mean, Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence and
Drake May. Who you going to trust?
Drake May. Who you trust? Josh Allen or those guys?
Yeah.
The Bills, I think the Bills would have to win a shootout in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I still don't think that defense is stout, but they can win a shootout.
Yeah. They've proven that all year. Now, we'll wrap up the Bills on this. Stevie, your boy, your Kentucky guy, Ray Davis, massive difference. And the Bills special teams, so Ray Davis right now, 32.4 yards per return, leads the NFL. Average 41 a return versus the Pats. The Bills have made one small change, and it pissed me off when I saw it at the beginning of the year. Why would you have 2 kick returners back there? And what they did, Reggie Gilliam is now back there with Ray Davis. So it's basically wherever that ball's going, Ray Davis is taking it. Reggie Gilliam, you're going to open up some space. That has completely changed. Even look at yesterday. They start the second half with Ray Davis taking one inside to the Pats 44 or something like that. Completely changed how their offense is. And that's your boy from Kentucky, Ray Davis, Stevie.
Yes. Hey, teammates, I promise you, on X, we talk about it all, and I feel like I called it out with the special teams and how it's been non-existent. And, my guys, they on there, they see it. And I feel like they took it personal, and that's good. You have to utilize social media accounts to somehow spark minds. Maybe that caused some conversations in the locker rooms like, hey, coach, we probably need to do this, and this. And look at what it's done. Because like you called out, there was 2 returners back there for what? No reason. Now you put Reggie Gilliam, who's another potential Pro Bowl fullback, to do more, add more for his team, and it's showing, and guys like Ray Davis. I mean, again, we got to think about when he was in college, he was up for the Heisman. So he knows what it feels like to be the man, and he had to find out a different way considering James Cook is here and that's his position now on offense. You got to find your way, and Ray, he's done great at adjusting, and I love that part about him.
Okay, let's transition now. We got to talk a little Chiefs. Just overall, injuries were awful yesterday. Mahomes, torn ACL. Micah Parsons, torn ACL. Even Devontae Adams with a hamstring. We don't know the latest on that. It looked bad. We still don't know. We're taping this Monday, 12:30 Eastern right now. It seems they're optimistic. It's not too bad, but we got to just wait and see on that. The Mahomes injury just the Chiefs are officially eliminated. They were out with the loss, but now with Mahomes it leads to a bigger question. What's next for the Chiefs? Do they need to sort of retool here and kind of take a gap year next year? Because let's just go over some facts. Andy Reid is 68 years old. Chris Jones is 31. Travis Kelce might be retiring. So if you're KC, does it make sense to sort of, maybe kind of take your lumps next year?
Are you you say the word. Go ahead. What you want to say? Say it. Say it with your chest. Stick your chest out.
I'm not saying the dynasty's done.
No, you're saying that Chiefs should rebuild next year. That's what you want to say.
Hey, man, the New England Patriots were one of the best dynasties we've ever seen. Tom Brady had to be a part of not necessarily a rebuild, but a restructure on the fly. And I think it is now time for the Chiefs to be we extracted the most out of that first window, and it is now time for the second iteration of the Kansas City Chiefs. And with this Mahomes injury, next year is the best opportunity to do so. Do you agree or no?
I agree with that, and that's okay. That's the cycle of this business. It's time, because considering the time that Mahomes has taken his injury, he's not going to be able to play the first few weeks of the season. So
here's one thing, and I noticed this yesterday with the Chiefs. It's actually crazy. They're not very. First of all, he'll be back in a few weeks. You're right. He's going to miss sometime.
He'll probably miss. I'll say he misses September of next year.
Yeah. So they're not going to be. They're far from out of it. They get a backup guy that can bridge for a bit, and he's still there. So let's all. If we're all agreeing that he'll play the majority of the season next year, and to be fair to you, Chris, you're not saying they need to rebuild and cut it all down. You're just saying retool on the move.
Exactly.
I get it. But let's see just how far, or what I think not far away, this Chiefs team is. Their losses this year, guys. Twice to the Chargers. Look how good the teams are they lost to. Twice to the Chargers. They lost to the Eagles. They lost to the Jags. They lost to the Bills. Yep. They lost to Denver. They lost to the Dallas Cowboys and the Houston Texans. Those are the losses.
Those are a lot of playoff teams.
Those are that's a list. That's six. What they lost? 6 losses, 7 losses? Yeah, never know.
That's pretty much all playoff teams. Yeah.
So those are 7 of the top.
3 of them shouldn't have been losses.
Right, and you're talking 7 of the top 11 teams in NFL. Flip that around, and this is just the way the world works and the way the NFL works. When you have a first place schedule, the New England Patriots, their 2 wins. Tampa Bay were their best wins.
Buffalo's their best win. Buffalo week 5. Yeah.
Tampa and Buffalo are the only wins they have, and I don't think Tampa is better than any of the teams that Kansas City lost to. So that just tells you how much the schedule means. And to your point, Stevie, some of them they shouldn't have lost. So the Chiefs are not that far away. I think we probably agree. But when I saw their losses, and for those who don't know, you have when you're a first place team, you play a first place schedule.
Well, they'll get a third place schedule next year now. So now, Chezzy, I agree with you. And you look at last year, what were they like? Whatever their record, they were unbeaten in 1-score games. They probably should have lost a lot of those. And that luck sort of flipped this year. But I'm just looking at the reality of their current roster construction, which is, and we'll start with head coach. Andy Reid is 68. Travis Kelce's probably going to retire. Chris Jones, 3 years left on a big deal, but they can get out of that deal easily without much dead money in 2026. That you need to retool your roster for another run. And I look at it as if I'm KC, I'm going to get a good draft pick this year. If I sort of not mail in next year, but sort of like maybe let's give Mahomes a little longer. Take this year and next year to sort of retool, and then completely flip your roster around to queue up Mahomes' next run and the Chiefs 2.0. It's probably the Chiefs 3.0 because you would say the Tyreek Hill era was 1.0. The retooling of those after Tyreek Hill's 2.0, they're ready for their third iteration, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I would say it depends on who they bring in to be QB for them to say,
like, to bridge the gap next year, you mean?
More time. Yeah.
Well, it's Minshew now. I think Minshew could bridge the gap for five or 6 weeks.
Depends who they have the first month of the season next year. Yeah, I mean they can't start off 0-4 and then expect to catch up.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, also look at the salaries. There's a lot to go into. This is a deeper conversation, but first of all, how much does Kelsey make? Kelsey's no longer.
He's going to be retired. He's got to be retired after this year, right? Yeah, I think so.
After a loss, after not making the playoffs, I don't know. I don't know what his life ambitions are, but. Chris Jones is still one of the most dominant guys in the league. I'm not paying. If Kelsey's one of the highest paid tight ends in the league, I'm not paying him that.
Well, they're already in a ton of cap trouble, and that's what I'm saying though. Is like Chris Jones is so good, but at 31, at that size as a tackle, how long is he going to be good? Isn't it time to cash that in? Trade Chris Jones and get a first round pick for Chris Jones, and that's all I'm saying. Is I'm looking at it from
that's a terrible idea.
Yeah. All right, let's look ahead to Monday Night Football. Dolphins Steelers, interesting game. Who would have thought 10 weeks ago that we would be saying the Dolphins would be still alive in playoff contention before the Chiefs, as the Chiefs are officially eliminated. Dolphins are still alive. This is a big game tonight, but it's Tua outdoors, and that's what scares me. But we're going to make a little your way parlay. So for me, I love the tight ends in this game. I'm going to bet Waller solo. I'm going to bet Freiermuth solo. I'm going to bet Jonnu Smith solo. Those are all really, really low lines. But I'm going Waller, 25 receiving yards tonight against Pittsburgh. Stevie, what do you want?
All right, look, Dolphins beat the Bills. Bills smoked the Steelers. The Dolphins are going to the Steelers' house, and they still have action at making the playoffs. I'm going Tua. It's Tua time. 2 touchdowns passing. Tua time, baby.
Ooh, Tua time. I kind of like that. You know what? If it's bad weather, cold, we know Tua has struggles a bit in that weather. He'll get the ball out quick. I'm going Devin H.N. First quarter, over 3.5 yards receiving.
Oh, wow.
First
Okay, so
quarter.
basically catch one pass.
One pass, first quarter, Devin H.N.
I love how unhinged this your way is. So go to FanDuel, make that bet. That's it for us this week. Stevie, play us out.
Yes, hey, thanks for y'all time. Make sure y'all tap in and stay tuned for next week, and we'll see what happens with our Buffalo Bills. This is the Broken Table Podcast. One love.